listing history. So if the property went on the market in July and we didn't get a offer until November, sometimes I'll just send in the entire history. And it's worthwhile to do that sometimes. And of course, the buyer proof of funds, if they're cash, or pre-approval if they're a finance buyer. If a finance buyer is asking for a seller credit, I need a 1% seller credit or a 3% seller credit, it's really important that you try to include a GFE or a good faith estimate from their lender. Because again, this is going to affect the seller's lender's net proceeds. So if they're going to give money to the buyer at closing, we need to know how much and how much is what are the costs that the buyer has to incur to get the house. So the BPO. I'll spend a little bit more time on the BPO because to me this is one of the most important parts of the whole transaction. Because I think we gave an example at the beginning. If your impression of a sale, or if the bank's impression of the sale is $425,000 and you just marketed this thing for 6 months and you only got an offer for $350,000, what do you do? So the BPO is a big part of this process that I think you have to have a good thumbprint on, or a good control over. They determine the fair market value of the property with this, and then they're going to determine if they counter you at this point or reject your offer entirely. Sometimes they do a full-blown appraisal, not just a BPO. Sometimes they do a drive-by BPO, not my favorite, because those are usually always not as accurate. And it's not the agent's fault. They were hired to just do a drive-by and they did their best job as to the value of the property, but it's usually, they don't know the inner workings of that house. They don't know if the heating system's gone or something else is affecting it. And you can have multiple valuations on property. So if you have 2 liens on the property, the first lien may order a BPO or an appraisal, the second lien may also order a BPO or an appraisal. I think it's really important that you as an agent show up to that appointment each and every time. You have to be prepared when you meet the BPO agent at the property. And I like for our agents to show up, if we're going to be working with an agent, with a value support package. The package is, the information that supports the buyer's offer. So let's go back to the example. What if everything goes back to the bank and now we have a problem? Now the bank's countering at $425, your buyer's offer is $350. Maybe the buyer will go up a little bit, but maybe not to that $425 amount. So what do? You're going to do a valuation dispute or a BPO dispute package. This is kind of interchangeable with what maybe you should have showed up at the BPO appointment with. But the information that goes into a BPO support package or a BPO dispute package is very similar. You're the agent. The 2 people that know the most about that property are the listing agent and the seller. So if you knew that the house roof was bad, that's something you're going to highlight into a cover letter. If you knew the heating system was bad or on their last legs, highlight it on the cover letter. Maybe there's something about the area that you know that maybe somebody coming in to value the property from outside isn't going to know. Power lines, I don't know, but there could be something about the property that you as the listing agent know above and beyond than the person coming in from 2 hours away that's valuing the property, and that does happen.
How about the buyer valuation or inspections at this point with repairs and estimates?
And that would be a great time to give them a copy of the inspection report. Hey, guess what? The buyer did an inspection report and found these issues that are going to have to be corrected. Updated comps. What comps are going to support the buyer's offer? Repair estimates, pictures of the property. We send pictures of the property in all the time to the lender. It's really important, like if you're going around and there's noticeable items that are potentially affecting the value of this home, that you have it documented somewhere. So I love somebody that can take a good picture of something that's going to be, like I said, affecting value. Pictures of location, busy street, is it next to a big complex? And again, the marketing history, how long do you have the property on the market? I'm going to skip to one section here because I know it's going to be surprising, but it's true. On a BPO best practice, we have people that have come into properties that aren't valuing the property from a third-party company. So the bank hires somebody. And they go through this third-party company, and that third-party company now hires a real estate agent from New Hampshire. And they may hire an agent from Salem, New Hampshire that has to drive all the way up to Plymouth or beyond. Maybe doesn't know that market very well. And next thing you know, you're sitting there and you walk in to meet the BPO agent at the property, and it's a 17-year-old kid that won't talk to you or look at you. But he's gonna take pictures of the property. And it's not the person that was hired to do the valuation. So I just wanna skip to that because it's happened twice. I would think it would only happen once in my lifetime, but it's a practice. Where the person you're meeting at the property that's valuing the property to the bank isn't the person valuing the property. They're just there to take pictures of the person who's sitting back at a desk in Salem, New Hampshire and valuing the property. So, what we did when we started working with agents is said, from now on, anybody you meet at the property, send them an email confirmation of the appointment. Hey, Chuck, I'm gonna meet you Friday at 4. Bring a copy of a picture ID and your license. That virtually eliminated any issues we had. What happened too is I then started getting cancellations right away too. So you could tell the people that were doing this practice. But you would get a cancellation of a BPO and then the bank has to order a new one. But this is really important as you're going to go meet these people at the property. You've done your diligence as a listing agent. You've got a packet ready to go to meet this person. You want the person coming to the property to be the one that values it from the bank. You don't want a 17-year-old that's driving up in his beat-up car that is literally taking pictures and giving it to somebody else.
What about when you're meeting the person, say you're the listing agent, they send the BPO agent in, and you say to them, I have it under agreement for $200,000 because of the poor condition, and here are my comps to support it. Because I know myself, I don't do them anymore, but I've done hundreds and hundreds of BPOs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had them where I've met the agent out there and they've never said anything, the property was on for 200, their short sale was only 150. And how would I ever know that they had it under for 150? It's not like an appraisal, you're not getting a copy of the, but you're also getting paid next to nothing. So if you give somebody 3 active, 3 solds, and hand them to them and say, this is what it's under agreement for.
Sometimes I sit there and say, maybe polish.
So I think your chances would go up, because I myself, when people hand me all kinds of stuff and they give me a song and dance, at the time, I might be getting $60.
Right.
I've already spent half hour in the car, now I have to do an hour report. All I want to know, here are your comps, there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the place.
Yep.
Most
BPO agents we've run into are fairly appreciative when you're pretty much doing their job for them.
Right.
Here's your comps. Here's your comps. We usually do the first 2 pages of the P&S. I don't even have to tell them what it's under contract for, because I put the first 2 pages of the P&S in with everybody's permission. Because usually on the first 2 pages, what do you get?
Price.
The price. They don't need everything else. I don't want to muddy their day. Like first 2 pages has the price. So we have a whole BPO, you can find it even online, but a whole BPO best practices video on YouTube. It's good. It goes over this a little bit more in detail than this today. But yeah, I think if you're going to that work, we actually email the support package to them before they even go to the property. When I confirm my appointment with Chuck at 4 o'clock on Friday, hey, here's everything you need to know about what's going on at this house. Because I can tell you, sometimes they don't even know if it's a distressed property.
Right.
They have no idea if it's a short sale, they have no idea if it's a foreclosure, they don't know why they're going, they just got an order from a third-party company. And let me give you this scenario. House A and House B, identical on the same street, same neighborhood. House A, the homeowner's no distress situation, they're fine, they're doing great. House B, they lost their jobs, they can't pay their mortgage. Which house is going to sell for less? House B. B, not because of the actual difference in the house, but because of the situation in the homeowners.
Well,
so
but
even
the buyer has to take that risk of
Right.
jumping into something they don't
Right,
want
so
to
even
invest.
situationally, value can be affected.
Yeah.